Right, you lot, and first and foremost, I'm so sorry for the lack of uploads. I'm going to do better. That is a lie. It's time for my top 10 worst songs of the year. This an annual video that I do every year. That's why it's annual. Well, I present to you the worst of what music had to offer. How would I describe 2025 as a music year? I think kind of underrated. I mean, there were some great big albums that did come out. You had the Ethel Cain album, adore it. You have the Clips album, which was fantastic. Lady Gaga's new album was great. Lord's new album was great. But when it came to popular music, it was a very ordinary year. That's not on the list, by the way. Ordinary is such a generic song that I actually can't be able to talk about it for a segment. So it just felt that 2025 was like a slump hangover year. Most of the top songs of 2025 were the top songs of 2024 because 2024 was such a blockbuster year. It was a bit like 2019, except we didn't even have a pandemic this year. So I don't really know what the excuse is, but when all that could break through was a K-pop animated film and a bloke from the Hype House, it says a lot about the state of music, which is why for my top 10 worst hits, I've kind of stretched what a hit is a little bit, so it's not just going to be only charting songs, and that's how I like to do it, you know what I mean? These worst lists is not necessarily, when I say hit songs, I mean kind of major names. So songs by people that you would expect something from, because if this list was the actual top 10 worst songs of the year, it'd just be a bunch of versions in their mum's basement and they made something in 5 minutes on GarageBand. It'd be my whole new album. I did this joke last year. But anyway, let me tell you first and foremost what is not going to be on this list. AI music is banned from my list because I don't want to validate it or recognise it because it hasn't even charted yet, so that's why it's not here. Anxiety will also not feature on this list because everyone and their nan's already talked about it. And I don't even think it's that terrible, but I'm not a big fan of Anxiety in case you're asking where it is. So anyway, let's get on the list. Coming in 10th place, it's Lil Wayne with Peanut to Elephant.
What up, though? All my niggas cutthroat. Cut a nigga head off, you looking like you bumbo. Smoke 'em like double dutch, all you niggas jump rope. Syrup in the double cup, fruit punch like knuckles. All my niggas up, though. Bands on bands in my pants, that's...
What the hell was that? Actually, like, how did this happen? I always wonder with like these songs and these big albums by big names, how many producers and writers and people, how many yes men must Lil Wayne have had to have been allowed to put this on one of his Carter albums? If you don't know, the Carter series is Lil Wayne's kind of main album series, and they all have great albums pretty much until the Carter 6, which was an absolute train record in every single sense. It just was a disaster from start to finish. But Peanut to Elephant was a tragedy of a song. I mean, that beat. This was a collaboration between Lil Wayne and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Not even the weirdest collab Lil Wayne's done. He's done bloody everything at this point. You've got two of the most like genius minds in entertainment working together on something that is so tragic. The beat has got the stability of a house of cards. It doesn't work. It's not funny. Was there a joke here that I didn't get? And Wayne's lyricism is lazy, tired, and played out. I got nothing from this song. But I'm almost putting it this low because A, it's just such a hilarious failure that it's got to be a troll. But can someone explain to me what he was going for with Peanut to Elephant? I mean, I don't have words for it. Okay, coming in 9th place, we've got Bruno Mars and Sexyy Red with Fat, Juicy and Wet.
I don't even gangbang, pussy so good, make me throw up a set. That good kitty, good kitty, making my pet. Pretty pussy, top of pussy, you ain't never gonna forget. Fat, juicy, and wet. Pussy like weed, pussy like dog.
Now, Bruno Mars did a trilogy of quite mediocre collabs. You had Die With A Smile. I never really got much out of the song. You had Apata. Not a big fan. But somehow he went even further worse when he made Fat, Juicy and Wet with Sexyy Red. It's just a disgusting song on so many levels. They don't have any chemistry. People rejected this song quite quickly, but it was actually a hit. I mean, it didn't work. The lyrics are so on the nose, so forced. And where's the Silk Sonic Bruno? You know what I mean? This guy used to be one of the best names in pop music, and hearing this track he just sounds washed. He's too old for this. And teaming up with Sexyy Red, I mean, she's had some good songs. She's had some good gets verses. This was not an example of that, however. This was a failure of a track on every level. And is lucky to only be 9th, really. Okay, coming in at 8th place, fucking year of the row, is Jojo Siwa with Betty Davis Eyes.
trust, and she knows just what it takes to make a pro blush.
Now last year, Jojo Siwa did a cover of a good song and ruined it, except last year she tried to claim that she actually wrote it. Unlike with Karma, this time she couldn't really get past the fact that this was a cover. And did anyone ask for this? Now in 2025, Jojo Siwa went from the queen of her new coined genre gay pop, which she claims to have invented, to fall in love with a man in Celebrity Big Brother. And look, I am happy for Jojo Siwa that happened. I hope her and Chris Hughes are very happy. They seem a great couple. But my problem is, can she just stick to the dancing at this point? Whatever the rebrand with Karma was, at least it was like funny to laugh at. Betty Davis Eyes was just an appalling cover that nobody asked for. And I know you could argue that most songs no one asked for, but specifically this one. There was no first for this. No matter how much pitch correction and auto-tune Jojo Siwa will continue to use, she cannot hide the fact that she cannot sing. She does nothing with this cover. She brings nothing new to it. The point of a cover is to tell a new story. You look at like Johnny Cash's Hurt or Whitney Houston's I Would Love You. They did something new with the song. They took the song in a new direction and made it iconic and made it theirs. This was forgotten in about 5 minutes. Look, I know she's not a singer, but she keeps trying to pretend that she is, and we need to end this Jojo Siwa hype train. So that's why she's on the list. Coming in at 7th, he's back, is Lil Wayne with Rari.
Lamborghinis on the zooming in my Rari to LA. Said I'm zooming in my Rari to LA. Lamborghinis on the way, on the way. Yeah, while I'm zooming, I just got something to say, something to say.
I'm going back to Cali, nigga. Shirt off, gun showing like O'Malley, nigga. As the semi niggas call me semi-fallon, nigga. From
It's a touching thing on paper for Lil Wayne to do a track with his son. You know what I mean? Pass on the torch on his Carter album. Okay, it's been done before. The problem with Rari, which features Cameron Carter, is that it's so not cohesive. The hook is about his son singing about how he's zooming around in a Ferrari. And then Lil Wayne's verses have nothing to do with the Ferrari. It's just him doing usual stick about that he bangs and stuff and money that he makes and drugs that he does. And it's just like, it's just really appropriate for you to be rapping about this. I know your son's 16, but it just feels really awkward. This could have been a really touching, like, a father-son bonding song. And I kind of expected something like that. But instead what we got is just an awkward Lil Wayne song, and for some reason it's just his son on the hook that has nothing to do with the rest of the song. The bars, they're not good, they don't pop out. The production is poor, his son's not a great vocalist. It's a tragedy of a song. It just, on every level, it didn't work. Okay, coming in 6th place, I'm going with Eldest Daughter by Taylor Swift.
But I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage. But I'm never gonna let you down. I'm never gonna leave you out. So many traitors, smooth up.
When you listen to a new Taylor Swift album, you'll know this trend that she does, the track 5. The 5th song it tends to be the most emotional, poignant part of a Taylor Swift album. Think of like All Too Well, for example. Or something like My Tears Ricochet. You know when the track 5 were good. Eldest Daughter not only is her worst track 5, is one of her worst tracks ever. I got what she's trying to do here, but it didn't translate. It's a piano ballad where she's basically singing about how her, as the richest singer ever, £1 billion tour, however much money, doesn't feel cool and is affected by comments and mean stuff, and it's cold out. The lyricism is appalling. It picks up a bit in the second half where she tries to bring in more about how like she gave up her marriage and talk about her marriage with Travis, but the link between all of it doesn't really work. It's giving me back to We Need to Calm Down, where she conflated hatred of the LGBT community with Twitter comments. It was just, this didn't work, this song. It's just, I don't know how somebody didn't sit her down You're the biggest star on the planet, and look at some of these lyrics.
Everybody's so punk on the internet. Everyone's unbothered till they're not. Every joke's just trolling and memes. Sad as it seems, apathy is hot. Everybody's cutthroat in the comments. Every single hot take is cold as ice.
It's just like, read the room. The metaphor isn't working. Like, I know there's probably some themes about, yeah, we get too comical online sometimes, and we hate people behind the screen, and so, okay, there's a commentary here, but it's just, it's such a lazy through line for her to do, and it's one that she's done before, you know what I mean? Say what you want about other songs in the life of a showgirl, which people didn't particularly like. At least Wood was, like, shocking. She attempted to be Sabrina, and it didn't really work, but Eldest Daughter, it's not only retreading old things, it's not very cohesive, and it's a really good instrumental, and it had so much potential as a song, and it's just the lyricism lets it down. And that's my problem with a lot of the life of Showgirl, to be honest. A lot of the production, she's back with Max Martin, she's got some great stuff, and these songs sound good. Even a song like The Fate of Ophelia, it sounds really good, but it's just, when you deep the lyrics and actually break it down, it doesn't work. It's disappointing, because I defended Talk to Poets, because I think it had some of the best writing, and she's absolutely gone backwards with this one. Anyway, moving on to number 5, from probably the biggest pop star on the planet to the most irrelevant one, it's Will Smith with Pretty Girls.
Girls, 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 girls. I love pretty girls. Girls, 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 girls. You don't gotta wait in line tonight. You're too fine for the line tonight. 5 plus 5, you a dime tonight. It's a full house, better play your cards right. I'ma post your pic if you pose. Make one phone call, you in vogue. Head, shoulders, knees, toes. Hold up, wait, pose.
So only a few years after Will Smith embarrassed himself by slapping a comedian over a Gio Jana joke, only for it to be revealed that his relationship with Jana was down the toilet. Now he's out and free, and he's talking about pretty girls, and it's... The new Will Smith album was just sad. His last album 20 years ago was atrocious, and he really shouldn't have come back. His bars are just generic, and it just doesn't work as a 50-year-old Will Smith trying to pull this off in 2025. It's cringe, it's hard to listen to, and I'm sorry mate, you slapped a guy to defend your wife, and now you're out there talking about young pretty girls. Like, it's just strange. This was some weird midlife crisis of Will Smith, which I wish I didn't have to listen. I could put any track of the album on there, but I think Pretty Girls in particular was probably the worst one. Okay, coming in 4th place, oh god, it's Benson Boone with Mystical Magical.
Moonbeam ice cream, taking off your blue jeans, dancing at the movies, cause it feels so mystical, magical, oh baby, cause once you know my love is so mystical, magical.
Benson Boone is a man that I actually despise. This American Idol wannabe is just obnoxious. And his only cool party trick is he can do a backflip. You know when you've got someone that can do something cool, but they milk it? That's something with the backflips. He backflips about 50 times a show, I swear. Mystical Magical doesn't work, not only because of how annoying the vocal delivery. Benson Boone's a good singer, but for some reason he tries to be way too much Tiptoe by the Window on this song. And it's just his annoying inflections he consistently does. The lyricism is atrocious. And it just feels very seductive. Our song is like, oh, you're gonna want me, come on, Moonbeam ice cream, come on. It just feels a bit desperate, it feels a bit clingy. I can't stand Mystical Magical. It's one of the most annoying hit songs of the year. You probably heard it a million times, and I wish I didn't have to hear it. And I hope this is the last year of Benson Boone. And the worst thing about Mystical Magical is that I heard this album with my friend Reese Wiesner, who you'll know, on the day the album came out. We first heard Mystical Magical, we hated it, and I said this is going to be a hit, and it's going to annoy me. And what do I know, it's one of the biggest songs of the year. So I called the hit. I've never got a prediction right in my life, and the one prediction I got was about Mystical Magical, and I don't like that. Alright, we're into the top 3 now with, you knew she was coming, it's Jessie Murph with 1965.
And maybe you'd still be a hoe, but if you cheated, hell, I wouldn't know. I want you to love me like it's 1965. Oh,
even dive into like the problematic element of the lyrics of this song, can we just talk about how annoying Jessie Murphy is? She's going for like this Meghan Trainor 60s feel, and she's going way too over the top with it. Potential as an artist, but what she's doing here, it's just, it doesn't work. It's annoying, and I cannot believe this is a hit song. And I think it says everything about the world that we live in, this is a hit song. So she's trying to do this weird commentary thing of like, oh, take me back to 1965. I know it would be better off for me, the woman I'd probably abused, and, you know, but I want to be this trad wife, I want to do all this. And it's like a tongue-in-cheek, weird joke thing that, I know it's not a serious song, and I'm not going to take what she's saying at face value, but the commentary still doesn't work, the joke still doesn't work. It's just not very clever. And she's saying a lot of things that you could do. Like, there's a whole segment in the song about how she would go back to 1965 because she could be a 20-year-old and date a 40-year-old and no one would
Be
care.
acceptable for you to be 40, and that is fucked up, I know.
Except I feel like back then it would have been more strange for a 40 and 20-year-old to be dating. Like, there's so many just lazy lines here that if she's trying to make some kind of point or some kind of argument, it just isn't working. And the song is hard to listen to, it's annoying on so many facets, and I can't stand Jessie Murphy, really. It says everything that this is a hit song in 2085. Runner-up, here he is Ronnie Radke with All My Woman.
She's got me by my balls. She's a pain in my ass, but that's how I like my women. Head spinning round and round like an exorcism. It really turns me on. How I like my ladies real crazy. Bring it on, 'cause that shit don't faze me.
I think Ronnie Radke will never not be on my worst list. This was not a hit, but I've got to put it on the list because of how atrocious it is. This is the worst song of the year, but I think there's some principle my number one's worse. Now, if you ever wanted to know what a modern Fall Out Boy would sound like if Morgan Wallen sang it, you've got All My Woman by Ronnie Radke and Hardy. It's the most paint-by-numbers country song with falling in reverse vocals and inflections. And if that doesn't sound like Nightmare, it is. There's nothing really like offensive about it, you know what I mean? Ronnie's had some quite offensive songs and views if you Google his Twitter, but he's not here for who he is as a person this time. He's actually just here because of how terrible this song is. I'd take any Morgan Wallen song any day over anything this guy's made, and that is really saying something. Okay, now before we get to number one, I do have a few honourable mentions. My first honourable mention is Actually Romantic by Taylor Swift.
You call me boring Barbie when the coke's got you brave. High fived my ex and then you said you're glad he ghosted me. Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. Some people might be offended.
Now, I've already done a whole video regarding the whole feud of Taylor and Charlie XCX and how out of order this song was, but as a song, I don't mind it. I'm a third of the song, really. It's just like, the sonically is okay. It's not a worse lyrically, it's a lot better than Cancel, but on principle, it's got to be an honourable mention just because of how unneeded it was to do it, and how much she misunderstood what Sympathy for a Knife meant. So that's why it's here. Okay, next we've got Meet Your Padre by Drake.
I want to meet your madre, pay my respects to your padre, mi amor. Bonita, bien lo sabes, y esa forma de mirarme en tus ojos.
This was Drake doing an obnoxious accent. Can we do him for cultural appropriation for this song, please? Not because I think he's done something racist, but just because I don't like the song at all. It's annoying. It's not how you come back from losing a beef in an embarrassing fashion. His new album wasn't his worst, but this song in particular really was terrible. Okay, next we've got Blue Stripes by Jessie Murphy.
Hey boy, I ain't mad at you. I had to get back at you. I had to get back at you.
Just the whole aesthetic of and vocal projections that she likes to do, I just can't stand, and this was not better than 1965. Probably as a song it's probably worth, but just the added context of 1965, I don't want to put on the list twice. Wes Frank with Your Way's Better.
But I am so thankful for the ways that you bless me. Everything you say making waves like a jet ski. You love every part of me even when I was messy. Now I see the art in your beauty so I can finally sing out.
It's really cringe positive. Oh, let's be Christian and down with the kids. If you want to be down with the kids and be Christian, just put on VeggieTales. Don't listen to this obnoxious song please. I also put in Island Holiday.
When you're on a golden sea, you don't need no memory. Just a
Lil Wayne did a cover of Weezer, and it's about as pointless as the JoJo Siwa cover. The only thing I'll give this is that it was kind of interesting compared to most songs in here, so that's why it's here. And my final honourable mention, I'm putting Opium Baby by Playboi Carti. This is style over substance. It's a bad song. I wasn't a big fan of music. Kill me, shoot me. I didn't like it. I didn't like the album one bit. I think it was I think it was a big step backwards for Whole Lot Red. I think he spent 5 years on an album which had AI used throughout it. It was lazy. It was thrown together in 4 months, and it was way too long. And half the songs just didn't work for me production-wise, and Carti's voice was persistently great on me as well. I didn't like music, and Opium Baby is so overrated. Sorry. Not sorry. And the number one worst song of the year is...
It's a tie.
Huh? Yeah, so I put 3 songs at number 1. Now, Kanye West, or Ye, I think you got to call him now. I think he stormed off a Piers Morgan interview because he didn't call him Ye. So... Ye has dropped 3 songs this year, which could all be number 1 in different years. So I've just put them all at number 1 instead of him having the top 3. So it's Cousins, World War III, and Hell Hitler. I'm actually going to put number 1 is Cousins, but I mean Hell Hitler and World War III need a shout out. He's doing this cringe, feel bad for me. I'm dying because I'm taking this drug. I'm a Nazi, you'll hate me. You don't understand what I'm saying, bro. We don't believe it. You've lost all your friends, Kanye, and now you're crawling back to get them back because your only mate that you had, Dave Blunt's, even he's cut ties with you after you're just openly being a Nazi. It's not funny. It's not cool. It's just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic on so many levels. The state of this man. One of the greatest rappers of all time, had 5 classic albums in a row. A few more in between that and the 2010s, and you look at the state of him now and what he's making, it's sad. I didn't put Carnival on the worst list last year because I wasn't too familiar with the songs. I kind of ducked Vultures. That would have been in my top 3 last year if I'm doing a redux. But the worst song is Cousins.
Hanging with my cousin, reading dirty magazines. We seen 2 niggas kissing, we ain't know what that shit mean. Then we start reenacting everything that we had seen. That's when I gave my cousin head, gave my cousin head, gave my cousin head, and gave my cousin head.
The part about Cousins is that Kanye didn't even write this. This was wrote by another guy called Dave Blunt. Under no pressure, Ye decides to reveal that him and his cousin used to mess around and he sucked him off when he was 6. Now, Ye doesn't mention his age. I don't know if someone's worked out what cousin he's talking about and whether this was grooming as well as incest, but the song is mostly just like played as a joke because it's Dave Blunt's writing it. That's the problem with Cousins, most importantly, is that it doesn't take the gravitas of the type of thing he's confessing to. It doesn't take it seriously enough. It sounds terrible as well. The pitch correction, the auto-tune is terrible. It's impossible to listen to. It's just didn't need to happen. And the second half of the song is an already released AI Dave Blunt song where the only word that Dave Blunt's actually added was nitricide, which is the drug that, of course, Kanye's taking, which has kind of messed him up. That's the alibi he's got. They've just stitched together another song on the back of Cousins, and this second verse has nothing to do with the bit about f***ing off your 6-year-old cousin. Like, the 2 bits don't have anything to do with each other. It's terribly produced, it's terribly sung, it's awfully mixed. And I'd argue this is worse. than like the Nazi stuff, because with the Nazi stuff it's like, okay, he's just doing anything for attention, we shouldn't listen to him. But this is actually kind of scary and kind of dangerous, you know, the mix of the AI with the confession and the way they're not taking it seriously, and Kanye and Dave Blunt should hang their head in shame, and it is obviously the worst song of the year. Well, soon we're going to have my worst people of 2025, along with the best songs of 2025, which I'm much more excited to talk about, some songs that I really like. So yeah, I will see you not soon, goodbye.